After an 88-pitch, 7-inning performance in his last start against the Reds, Yusei Kikuchi returned to his previous form against the Rangers.
You are Locked On Angels, your daily Los Angeles Angels podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Yusei Kikuchi was his own worst enemy last night, and we're going to share why. We're also comparing Neto's start to his career to some other players, and we're asking what that might mean for Neto's future. And speaking of his future, we're also going to talk about how the Angels can lock up Zach Neto long-term. We're going to ask and answer that question in segment 3 today. But before we get there, let's talk about our sponsor, Game Time. You can download the Game Time app, create an account, and use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase.
Thanks for being here for this episode of Locked On Angels, where it's your team every day. You've got the Frisch Brothers here with you, a.k.a. the Super Halo Bros. My name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
It's our 4th season as a host of Locked On Angels, talking Angels baseball with you every single Monday through Friday. So if you're listening for the first time, we'll be here for you all week. Win or lose, we're here for you. And then we even have the postcast with Gavin Carlson, who goes live on the Locked On Angels YouTube channel and in your podcast feed after the fact. Hey, if you're watching or listening, come on over to YouTube, get in the comment section. It's the best way to get in touch with us, talk baseball with us. And if you're on social media, hit us up on Twitter at Locked On Angels, at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram. We'd love to hear from you there. And come bowling with us for the 2nd annual Logan O'Hoppe All-Star Bowl, Sunday, September 7th from 5 p.m. to 8:30 in Fountain Valley. We're supporting the YMCA of Orange County. All the proceeds will go to helping them directly. Get your tickets by clicking the link in the episode description. And when you do, use the promo code Halo Bros, all one word, and make sure you get that discount because it's a significant one. It's a good one. So comment below. Let us know if you're joining us at the O'Hoppe All-Star Bowl.
John, let's talk about that game last night. We've got a few takeaways, 5 to be exact, on the Angels and their loss to the Rangers last night, 7-3. First takeaway is Yusei Kikuchi's first inning struggles are really more self-inflicted than anything else. He does have an ERA over 5 in the first inning. And last night, John, he threw 37 pitches in that first inning, and he averaged 5 pitches per batter in the first. In his last start, it was just 3 pitches per batter for the entire game.
Wow.
He was that good. Yusei threw the 5th most pitches in the first inning, has done that so far this season amongst all starters in baseball. Feels like it too when you watch a Kikuchi start. And again, it was the foul balls that added to his pitch count. He had 10 foul balls hit against him in just that first inning last night, 15 for the game in his 4 innings. He walked the first 2 batters in the first inning, and each of those hitters were down 0-2 in the count. And then, to make matters worse, both of those runners came around to score, one on a double by Adolis Garcia and the other on a single by Josh Young. And then the Rangers had a sacrifice fly. That made it 22 first-inning runs that Kikuchi has allowed this season.
Yeah, the second takeaway here was the Angels hitters saw just 7 pitches after a 37-pitch first inning by Yusei Kikuchi. No patience, not working the count, just swinging away, Merrill, right? No consideration that Kikuchi, who just worked hard and had a rough inning, might need a breather on the bench a little bit, so make that guy on the mound work. And, of course, Mike, it's Patrick Corbin, who I loved the tweet from Sam Blum about the stats of Jacob deGrom versus the Angels and how awful he's been, and then Patrick Corbin being great against the Angels all season.
Yeah.
Patrick Corbin came into this game with 2 losses over 4 starts this month and an 11.48 ERA and barely has 13 innings over those 4 starts. So that'll tell you how short those outings have been. But again, they weren't making him work. And Patrick Corbin is somebody who will walk a hitter or two. He make him throw a lot of pitches. He's got an 8% walk rate, I should say. And the Angels didn't make him work, and they didn't change their approach the entire game. And that's why he was able to cruise through 8 innings. It's mind-boggling how you can do this all season long against a pitcher. And for as much talk as, well, it's the 3rd time through the order and it's the 2nd time through the order, the Angels have none of that. If you want to pitch a complete game against the Angels, don't worry about the second, third, fourth time through the order because they're not going to change anything. They're not going to adjust to you.
Right. Third takeaway is walks hurt Kikuchi last night. He had a 3-run first inning where he walked 2 that came around to score. And then he walks the leadoff hitter in the second inning, and that was Wyatt Langford. And then Wyatt Langford scored on a home run by Hellman, a total of 5 runs on 3 hits and 3 walks.
Hellman? Who?
Hellman?
Right. Yeah, the 28-year-old who just came up from AAA to fill in a roster spot.
His second home run, I think, in his career. It was pathetic. We got more on pathetic hitters in just a moment. But John, then the Rangers added a 6th run in the bottom of the 4th inning. Higashioka has 9 home runs.
Noted angel killer Kyle Higashioka, right?
4 of those 9 home runs have been hit against our favorite team. So just to be clear, 9 total home runs. 4 of them have come against the Angels.
It's him and Jonah Heim that pair up as the catchers. I think Heim gave him all of his angel killing powers this season because it used to be Jonah Heim, and now it's Kyle Higashioka doing all the damage against the Angels this year. Yeah.
Now, Kikuchi did finish with just 4 innings pitched, 6 runs, 6 hits, 3 walks. He threw 81 pitches. Just for context, remember, he threw 88 in 7 innings against the Reds. And that's not what you want from your ace against a division rival. And so what was different in this start compared to his last start? Well, John, remember in his last start, he was throwing the changeup and was kind of leading with the fastball. This start, he went back to what he was doing before. He was leading with the slider more than the changeup. And that's why he was walking guys. And that's why they were fouling it off, because Kikuchi said before his last start that teams were fouling that pitch off because he didn't have enough bite on it. When he switched to fastball, changeup, and then slider and curveball, and slider was kind of put down as the 4th pitch, they weren't making contact. They were swinging and missing. And if they were making contact, they were either grounding out or flying out. But for some reason, he literally reverted back to original mode. Like he went back to whatever he was designed, right? And they're like, you're just going to go out there and do what you've done all season long.
The factory installed equipment, right?
Yes. It was a factory reset for him, it felt like, last night. And it didn't make any sense because he really did well against the Reds, which is a good team. And the Rangers are not as good as the Reds record-wise. They have some good hitters. Why you would revert back? Maybe he thought that there was video on him, or maybe he thought that people would read into what he did. Like, maybe give it a couple of starts before you decide to go back to what you originally did after, going 7 innings and throwing just 88 pitches. You threw 88 pitches in the first inning. I mean, you threw a ton of pitches in this game. It was ridiculous.
Now, I mentioned that tweet from Sam Blum. I found it here. Jacob deGrom versus the Angels this year, 15 1/3 innings pitched, 10 earned runs, and a 5.87 ERA. Patrick Corbin, noted all-star. No, I'm just kidding. Patrick Corbin versus the Angels this year, 23 1/3 innings pitched, 5 earned runs, and a 1.93 ERA. I love Sam's tweet. It said, doesn't really make much sense. And I said, Angels baseball, baby.
Hey.
That's what it is. Mike, our 4th takeaway here was that the Angels were down 7-0 at the end of this game. Danny Coulomb comes in to just clean it up, right? And he's somebody that the Rangers traded from the Twins in order to help out their bullpen. I'm not sure what that says about him, considering he's coming in 7-0 and struggling, right? But Zach Neto ties his own home run record with 23 on the season. That's from last year and now this year. And then my guy, Jo Adell, not your guy, my guy, me specifically, not you, me specifically. Jo Adell hits 30 home runs on the season with Mike Trout on base. So it made it 7-3. Yeah. And it made the score respectable, but it was never really that close. But here's the thing. The Diamondbacks last night came back and they roared back against the Brewers 8-8. The Mets had a walk-off win after they were down 5-2 against the Phillies. So you think maybe there's something in the air tonight. But no, because Mike, our 5th takeaway was, I got to make a confession. I yelled at the TV. I nearly woke up my son.
So did I. I yelled at the TV last night. I'm dead serious. Why did you yell?
I yelled because after Coulomb comes out of the game, it's 7-3. There's 1 out. Bases are cleared. And it's like I said, there's magic in the air in last night's or across MLB last night, right? Yeah. All these comebacks are happening. So it's like, okay, maybe the Angels do something crazy. Crazier things have happened in Texas, right? And Rengifo comes up and swings at the first pitch and pops out.
Oh gosh.
And I said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Take a pitch, right? And this goes back to the way they were handling Patrick Corbin, just swinging at everything, not making adjustments, not doing anything. So I was just like, what are you doing, bozo? Like, that was why I yelled at the TV. But you yelled. What did you yell about?
I yelled at Chase Silseth because he comes in and he's got a hitter. I don't remember who it was, batting 156. 156. And he's nibbling on the corners and he's throwing things off the plate. And he went up 3-1. He eventually got the hitter out. But we were getting ready to have dinner. And I literally said, "What? Throw a strike. Like, what are you doing?" I mean, I don't understand. He's hitting 156. Throw a strike down the middle. Like, Silseth, you made it to the major leagues. You're going to stay in the major leagues when you attack. When you attack. Remember, they moved you to the closer role in the minor leagues, and you were like, "Yeah, this fits me, and it fits my repertoire, and it fits my mentality." But then show me that. I mean, it was me at the plate. Like, I was hitting at the plate, and you're like, you're nibbling? This guy is the weakest hitter in the world, and you're nibbling? I don't understand that at all. It's like, this is just the mentality of the Halos, right? The mentality of pitching, the mentality of offense. It was so frustrating. And then my wife goes, "Hey, bro, calm down.
It's dinner time." Shut up. I'm laughing because when the Frishes get mad, you always go up here and you got to tuck up here. Are you kidding me? You're nibbling? No. Everybody has seen me do that like 100 times on this show. So I'm glad it was you this time. So I appreciate you having my back on that one. Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Coming up, we're sharing some comparisons to Zach Neto and his start to his career so that we can get an idea of who he might become in the future. And we're going to be sharing that in just a minute.
You got to get your tickets on Game Time. That's what you got to do. Let's get your tickets on Game Time. Game Time is incredible. You got these queues and login screens and surprise fees with everybody else, but you got to get tickets from Game Time. All right,
you better switch to normal, Mike, because you're gonna pop a vein or something.
Whew, I use Game Time. You use Game Time. It's fantastic, and they give the advantage back to the fans. Game Time is fast, easy. It's backed by the Game Time guarantee. You're always going to get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And the best thing is that all feeds are included. So the price you see is the price you pay. And honestly, it's faster and cheaper and less stressful than any other way to buy tickets. So download the Game Time app right now, create an account, use our promo code LOCKEDONMLB, and you can get $20 off your first purchase. There are some terms that apply. Again, promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, and go download the Game Time app today.
And today's show is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. The NFL season is almost here. FanDuel is making sure that you're ready for kickoff with a can't-miss offer. New customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the whole app. So it doesn't just have to be football, but now's the perfect time to get in on it because FanDuel fits however you like to bet. Player props, building a same game parlay, even jumping in live as the action unfolds. It makes every game more exciting, whether you're watching your team and getting frustrated at Jake Moody because he can't kick a field goal, or just keeping an eye on your fantasy lineup. So it's quick, it's easy, and the best way to add a little more energy to Sundays. So are you ready to play? Download the the FanDuel app by visiting FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com to place your first $5 bet.
Everydayers, Locked On wants to hear from you. They put together a survey to learn more about our listeners and how to make your favorite podcast even better. This is your chance to tell us what you like, what you don't like, and answer questions about our advertising. You can go to lockedonpodcast.com/survey to get started. Everyone who completes the survey will be entered for a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. They're going to give away 10 of those to 10 lucky people that fill out the survey. So do that right now. Again, lockedonpodcast.com/survey. You can also find the link in the show notes. And thanks for helping us out.
All right, Mike, we're going to be talking about the fact that Zach Neto has arrived, right? Like this is our future. This is the cornerstone, somebody you build around. Great to have a shortstop be the cornerstone as well. He's the 12th shortstop in MLB history to have multiple 2020 seasons. In fact, he got his second straight 2020 seasons. That's 20 homers, 20 doubles, and 20 stolen bases. So if this is him now, How much better can he get? What did Ray Montgomery have to say?
Ray said that Neto is at a pretty good level if he stayed right here for the rest of his career, but he added, but he won't stay right here for the rest of his career. He believes he's capable of doing more, and he will. It's not just a belief. He thinks it's going to happen. He's playing shortstop at a high level. He's an offensive force. He runs the bases great. His IQ is off the charts. It's really up to him. John, what did Neto actually say about himself?
Yeah, he was a little bit more vague about it. He said, I'm just trying to be consistent in terms of what's next. You want to fix your flaws that you had the year before, the past couple of years, not trying to peak too high, not trying to dip too low. Just make sure you stay even keel with everything. And he's got great numbers currently, Mike. He's got an 11.3 career WAR, wins above replacement, by his age 24 season. And in the last 50 years, only 130 position players have posted a WAR of at least 10 through their age 24 season. And for example, Mike Trout had a WAR of 47.5 by age 24. That's the highest of anyone in the last 50 years. Ken Griffey Jr. had a WAR of 37.1 by age 24. The low end of that range is where you find players like Neto. And yes, Neto's WAR is impressive, as are the other 129 position players. But when you're talking about where Trout and Griffey have stood, that's pretty significant.
Yeah.
But again, there are 24 players who have had a WAR between 10 and 12, and those careers are now over. But that group had an average career WAR of 36.8, and they all played until about age 34. So to put that into perspective, that means the average player who starts his career like Neto ends up like a Howie Kendrick, who had a 35 career WAR. That group also includes Hall of Famers like Andre Dawson and players who, fell off by age 30, like Yasiel Puig. Remember how great he was there for a while. The numbers tell us that Neto will most likely be somewhere in between like a Puig and a Howie Kendrick. I don't think Neto is the type to flame out as quickly as like a Yasiel Puig, right?
Yeah. Here's a group of players that Jeff Fletcher wrote about in the OC Register and compared Neto to based on the numbers. And the first player he mentioned was Troy Tulowitzki. Now, Neto talks to Tulo a lot. In fact, they came from the same high school or college, and he's modeled himself after him. And I think it's a good place to start, because what Tulo did with the Rockies was really good. He was an everyday shortstop at 22. He had a 13.7 WAR by the age of 24. And like Neto, Tulo missed some significant time with an injury in his first 3 seasons. He ended up playing 13 years in the majors and had a 44.8 WAR, which ranks 22nd among shortstops since 1900.
How about Dustin Pedroia, the Red Sox legendary second baseman?
I hear this all the time, man. The comparison of Neto and Dustin Pedroia.
Really? Yeah. I love that. He was the AL Rookie of the Year and the AL. He was the AL Rookie of the Year and then the AL MVP in 2007. His age 24 season, his WAR was 10.1 through age 24. So right there with Neto. And at this point of his career, his offense was actually more valuable than his defense. Very similar to Zach Neto. After age 24, Pedroia produced 5 more 5 WAR seasons. He finished with a career WAR of 51.8, which ranks 14th among modern second basemen.
Nolan Arenado is another comp. He is somebody that became an everyday player at 22 years old, and his WAR through age 24 season was 12.5. His WAR on offense and defense was about equal at that point. Obviously a nod to he has a great glove, and that's why he's great over at third base. He continued to churn out 4+ WAR seasons through age 31 and has a career WAR of 57.6, which ranks him 14th amongst third basemen.
And then finally, the last person that Jeff Fletcher made a comparison to was Bo Bichette. Bichette had an overall WAR through his age 24 season of 13. And in that season, he produced a WAR of 3.7, had an OPS of 802. Now his current WAR is 4.5. I'm sorry, Neto's current WAR is 4.5 and an OPS of 804. So very, very good comparison there with Bo Bichette. And Bo Bichette had kind of an injury-plagued season last year too, but he's back, man. He's looking really good. He's a free agent. I'm just saying. We'll talk about that as the offseason approaches. But those are the numbers. Let's chat about the numbers that actually matter, though, and that's the financial numbers, and we'll get into that coming right up.
Everydayers, if you're still paying full price for gas, you are leaving money behind. You can get real cash back every time you fill up with the free Upside app. Simply download the free Upside app in the App Store or Google Play Store right now, and you can start earning cash at the pump today. Use our limited time promo code SEASON, SEASON, and you're going to get an extra 25 cents back per gallon on your first fill up. You can make up to $300 a year by just buying gas that you already needed. That's incredible. Real people are getting paid just to make their daily commutes, and you can too. Plus, you can cash out at any time in your bank account, PayPal account, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Don't let this offer drive on by. See what I did there? Download the free Upside app right now using our limited time promo code SEASON for a limited time 25 cent per gallon bonus. That's promo code SEASON. And one disclaimer, offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
So what kind of contract could Neto get? We talked about some of the comparable players. Again, a great article from Jeff Fletcher of the OC Register. So what kind of contract could he get based on what he's done so far? Well, there's a couple considerations that we have to make. The first is that he is arbitration eligible next season. So far, he hasn't had to go into arbitration and say, hey, I'm worth this much. The Angels come back and say, yeah, but we think you're worth this much. So far, that hasn't happened yet. That'll be something to watch as the offseason approaches. Maybe they'll avoid arbitration and agree on a number. That also does happen. But second, Mike, Neto will be a free and clear free agent in 2030. So the Halos have Zach Neto for the next 4 years at least. If they want to lock him up, it's likely they're going to cover some of those arbitration years and then get about 2 to 3 years of free agency.
Yeah, so here's some comps for deals that can be found in two players that we mentioned. So what the Angels might possibly do with Neto. I don't know if these are great comps, however, but we'll talk about that in a second. The Blue Jays signed Bichette to a 3-year, $33.6 million deal in his first year of arbitration. They didn't lock him up for any free agent years, however. And then Nolan Arenado, his contract was different. He went a different route. In 2016, he signed a 1-year, $5 million deal with the Rockies. Next year, he signed a 2-year, $29.5 million deal with the Rockies. And then in 2019, he signed that big 8-year deal worth $260 million. And then obviously he was traded to the Cardinals. So I feel like those are two, like, here's the bottom end, here's the high end. What is the best? What's the most practical path locking up Neto? John, what will the Angels do? Because they're not always practical or reasonable or the best at what they do. And so they need to do something with Neto. A lot of people have been clamoring for a long-term deal. What do you think in this context is the best, most practical, and what the Angels will do?
Well, I want to point back to that Bo Bichette signing of 3 years, $33.6 million, so $11.2 million a year. What that did was at least guarantee Bo Bichette the 11.2 for each of those years, rather than going to arbitration and maybe getting $6 million that first year and $12 million the next year and $15 million the next year, right? So I think it just became an even round number for both sides so that Bo Bichette can go, all right, this is what I'm getting. And the Blue Jays can go, yeah, and if you get better, we don't have to pay you more than this $11 million that we're offering you per year, right? So I think that's kind of the interesting point there. Regarding Zach Neto, Mike, what I would like to see is perhaps a year of arbitration so that you get a baseline for a fair value, right? Arbitration is always going to be perhaps a little bit under what a player's worth. I mean, look at Taylor Ward right now, right? He's making $8 million, but according to Fangraphs WAR, he's about worth double that.
Yeah.
Because of the production that Taylor Ward has put up this season. I think going into arbitration with Zach Neto this offseason will give the Angels and Neto a good baseline for what he's worth. I would say maybe like $4 million at the most, right? Like, not to take anything away from Neto, but it is the first year of arbitration with the expectation that that number is going to grow further and further and further. Now, if they want to buy out arbitration and give him guaranteed money for each of those years, we're probably going to see something rather reasonable, kind of like that Bo Bichette deal where it was $11.2 million for 3 years, so a total of $33.6 million. I think that you would find something like that with Zach Neto because, again, it goes back to that guarantee. You buy out those arbitration years, he's sticking with you, and he's going to earn this base amount of money each year. However, if you want to go beyond that into his free agency years and beyond, 2030 and beyond, he's somebody that you'd want to keep around at age 24, Mike, at least 8 years, right? Like till age 32. You want to get those ages 27 through 32. Those are the best seasons that most guys have, right? But I say all of this with a caveat. For everybody who wants to lock up Neto and even Ohapi, right? There's been talk about like, man, like lock him up, get it, avoid all that stuff. Even Shonwell, right? Mm-hmm. Those are guys that the Angels will want to lock up. But the caveat here is there is $36 million in terms of luxury tax on the books because of Anthony Rendon. Mm-hmm. And I do not believe for a second that the Angels are going to buy out any contracts, buy out any arbitration, anything like that until, one, after 2026, when Anthony Rendon is off the books, and two, after the next collective bargaining agreement, where perhaps a salary cap is in play, a salary floor is in play. I know the Players Association will say, yeah, over our dead bodies, right? But we still have to get to that CBA after the 2026 season. Therefore, the figures and the numbers and the contracts, they could all look very different. The kinds of contracts that are being offered could all look very different at that point. So it's two things. Maybe you want to figure that out before the CBA, or maybe you want to figure out when that CBA dust settles what a contract looks like for these guys. The good thing is that the Angels don't have to be in a rush to sign these guys because they have them for their arbitration years. Now, the pushback on that is, yeah, but for every 2020 season Neto puts up, he's only going to get more expensive. Yeah, that's true. However, imagine when the $36 million a year comes off the books for Anthony Rendon, then maybe $18 million of that $36 million goes to Neto each year, right? I feel like that's a pretty reasonable number for somebody like Zach Neto, who will surely get a bigger contract later on in his career. But to get started with somebody like Neto, I think they got to go to arbitration. I think they're going to wait out the money that they owe to Anthony Rendon and wait till he's off the books. But Mike, I'm telling you, that CBA, that collective bargaining agreement after 2026 is going to cause a lockout. There's going to be a whole lot of talk about a ceiling and a floor. We might even get into, draft pick compensation for guys who get signed elsewhere, like what they did way back when to compensate for the fact that small market teams can't outbid large market teams. That's kind of outdated now, isn't it? Because they're finding ways around that. They're finding ways to, who cares, right? For the Dodgers, for example, who cares about the luxury tax in their case? So I think luxury tax numbers are going to change. I think penalties are going to change. There's going to be a whole big conversation. And if Artie Moreno is still the owner of this team, he's going to wait that out. Yeah. And I also think he's going to wait out having Anthony Rendon on the books. Those are my thoughts about it. And we might need to reference this segment several times over the next couple of months and years in terms of what happens with Neto and Ohapi and all those guys. But what say you? What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, I agree with you. I think that we're not going to see any sort of movement with these young guys until after the new CBA is in charge. So I would not have any expectations or put any expectations on the Angels doing anything long-term until that agreement is signed. So arbitration will be what the Angels do with guys like Shawnuel, Ohapi, and Neto. Is my bias playing into this, John? You said $4 million for Neto for arbitration. That
for
feels
the first year. Yeah.
That still feels really low to me. Is that just my bias?
Well, I think so because hold on, let me look up what they offered like Shohei Ohtani in his first year. It
was $5 million, I believe.
$5 million. Yeah. So I mean, doing double duty.
Yeah.
Right. That sort of thing. Like, yeah.
But he wasn't great. I guess he put up kind of Neto-esque numbers, on at least offensively.
But also, I think you got to think about like inflation. You got to think about, about 10 years from now. So
I would say I wouldn't be surprised if there is an $8 million arbitration number.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't be surprised either. No. I'm just saying like in that first year of arbitration, I would imagine things being a little bit lower. So yeah, he got the, he got the base salary, I think the first 3 years, and then it was 2021 where he got $4.25 million.
That's right.
Yeah. And then the last year of arbitration was $30 million for Shohei Ohtani, which of course, yes, that was after 2021. So, so it's just crazy. But yeah, I mean, $4 million, I would say that's a low number as well. $8 million, I could see for
Angels
sure.
will start at $4 million and offend him probably.
Well, I think, it's like salary negotiations where, Neto wants 10 million and the Angels want 4 million and they'll meet in the middle at 7.5. Right. And that's kind of the way they play the game. But again, I hope that they come to an agreement like right off the bat. That would be really nice and avoid arbitration. They've avoided it with like the likes of Taylor Ward and things like that. So funny enough, Jose Suarez was the one who they didn't agree with on arbitration. It was like, well, I'm sure the Angels are in the right there, not Jose Suarez, but it's always, you want to see the players get paid. And so, I don't mean to short Neto by any means.
No, I didn't take it that way at all. I just, that's why I wanted clarity because it's my baseball fandom playing into this. And I also agree with you that depending on what happens with the CBA, it would be really important for the Angels to lock up Neto specifically for longer than just the arbitration years. I think that they need to creep into the free agent years. And I think it needs to be at least 3 years of the free agent years because those are going to be some really big years for him, I think, if he continues on the trajectory that he is.
And this is a guy who, once shortstop is no longer a factor for him, later on in his career, possibly, right? Because he's a true shortstop.
Yeah.
He can be your third baseman, right? He can move over to that spot. He can move to second base, right? And so there's flexibility. That's what the beauty is of having a shortstop like Zach Neto is that you can, it's those guys who move from the outfield to first base, right? Or they move from third base to first base, then to DH, right? And so for Neto, the trajectory is a good trajectory in terms of he's going to be at short. He can move to third. He can move to second. There are options there for somebody like Zach Neto. I think that's a very good thing. But again, the two caveats, the CBA and Anthony Rendon's 36 million, 38 million, whatever the heck it is off the books after 2026. I think that's when we're going to start seeing things move for arbitration and the Angels' young players, including Zach Neto.
Thanks for making Locked On Angels your first listen of the day. Make sure you're subscribed to Locked On Angels on YouTube so you don't miss all of this great Halo content, including the best postcast in the business with Gavin Carlson. He's live after every game right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day.
Hey, be sure you give us a follow on Twitter at Locked On Angels and also at Super Halo Bros on Twitter and Instagram. Whether you're watching or listening, come on over to today's show on YouTube, get in the comment section, hit that like and subscribe button while you're there as well. Mike, what do we have on deck for Thursday's show?
John, we've talked about the young players, and I want to talk about Logan Ohapi. And I know people have been frustrated with the season that he has produced, but it's not as bad as you think. I'm going to share a player that everybody loved, and he's worse than Logan Ohapi. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow on Locked On Angels.
Uh-oh.
You ready?
All right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that conversation. We hope you are too. Come back and join us on Thursday. Until then, my name is John, and that's my brother Mike.
And my name is Mike, and that's my brother John.
Thanks for being here with us, everybody, and we'll see you back here on Thursday.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Fade.